10 morning habits that make men mentally unbreakable. You don't lose control at noon. You lose it the moment you wake up and surrender your mind without even noticing. The world doesn't break you in grand moments. It breaks you in subtle ones. Before you open your mouth. Before you take a single action. Before your thoughts even take shape. The first defeat happens in silence. And most men never hear it. They think they're strong because they push through the day. But if your mornings own you, your victories are just survival. Mental toughness isn't forged in noise, in hustle, or in shouting affirmations into the mirror. It's built in the first 10 minutes of the day, when the world is still quiet and no one is watching. That's where discipline is born, or lost. If you wake up reaching for distraction, you're already training your mind to escape. If your first thoughts are passive, reactive, or anxious, they become the architecture of your day, and eventually, of your identity. Every morning is a ceremony, whether you see it or not, whether you lead it or not. Most men live like servants to the morning, the few who don't become leaders of their fate. This video is not about generic advice. You've already heard enough of that. This is about building the kind of mind that doesn't flinch under pressure. That doesn't negotiate with weakness. That doesn't need motivation to act, because motivation fades. Discipline, once built, becomes a weapon. You will learn 10 habits that restructure how your mind operates, habits that reprogram your perception, harden your resilience, and make your inner world stronger than anything outside of you. They're not meant to comfort you. They're meant to challenge you. They're not about productivity. They're about sovereignty, mental sovereignty. You either command your mornings or they consume you. There is no in-between. And if you think you're too far gone, too distracted, too soft, too addicted to comfort, then this video is exactly for you. Because mental strength is not inherited. It's not genetic. It's a decision. One that must be made daily. One that must be made now. This is not a morning routine. This is a battlefield. And every morning you either armor your mind or you bleed silently for the rest of the day. The choice is no longer a luxury. It's your survival. Let's begin. The first thing most men see in the morning isn't the world, it's themselves. And that's exactly where the battle begins. Not with emails, not with problems, not with tasks or demands, but with your own reflection. That fragile moment when your eyes meet yours and there's nowhere left to hide. No filters, no distraction, just you. Stripped of all the identities you perform for others. The version of you that exists before the mask is reapplied. Most avoid that version. Most look away. Most pretend the mirror is just glass. But the man who is mentally unbreakable doesn't flinch. He looks. And he stays. Because the strength of a man is measured by how long he can face himself in stillness, without excuses, without escape. When you look into the mirror in the morning, what do you see? Is it confidence or confusion? Resolve or regret? You can lie to others. You can posture, perform, pretend. But the eyes can't be faked. Not to you. They are the first truth teller of the day. The eyes reflect every habit you've ignored, every lie you've repeated to yourself, every promise you broke in silence. And that's why most men look quickly, brush their teeth, wash their face, move on. It's not grooming, it's fleeing. But the man who doesn't turn away begins his day from power, because he knows that if he doesn't conquer that moment, the rest of the day will conquer him. This isn't about how you look. It's about what you're avoiding. You can have muscle and still be mentally weak. You can be groomed and still be fragmented inside. The mirror doesn't care about appearances. It reveals alignment, or the lack of it. And the truth is, you can't build an unbreakable mind on top of a dishonest foundation. If there's any part of you you're hiding from in the morning, it will sabotage you before the day even begins. A quiet kind of sabotage. The kind that doesn't scream. The kind that simply whispers, maybe I'm not enough. and lets that thought echo for the next 16 hours. The mirror is not just a surface, it's a ritual, a sacred moment of confrontation. It's where you ask yourself the questions no one else dares to. Am I living as the man I claim to be? Do my actions match my values? Did I show up yesterday with discipline, with clarity, with command? Or did I fold into convenience again? These questions hurt, but they purify. They reset the soul. They remind you that growth only begins where illusion ends. The world will lie to you all day. It will flatter you, distract you, tempt you, degrade you. But the mirror doesn't participate in that game. It waits for you each morning with the same challenge. Can you look at yourself without shrinking? Can you own your flaws without running? Can you meet your own gaze and say, with honesty, I know who I am, I know where I'm failing, and I'm willing to face it. Some mornings you will hate what you see. You will see tired eyes, weak posture, and doubt dripping from your skin. That's not failure. That's the battlefield. That's the place where transformation begins. What matters is not the state you're in, but your decision to meet that state without denial. And when you do, something shifts. You reclaim your center. You ground yourself in reality. You take back your power. The first battle is not glamorous. No one applauds you for winning it. No one sees the moment you stare into yourself and refuse to turn away. But that invisible battle sets the tone for everything else. If you lose there, every interaction is colored by weakness. If you win there, every challenge becomes manageable, because the man who can hold his own gaze and hold it steady has already done the hardest part. He has chosen truth over comfort, and that choice builds a spine made of steel. Never underestimate this habit. It will feel small, too simple. But that's how power hides itself, in plain rituals, in moments so ordinary they're ignored. But those who win in silence, before the world sees them, become unstoppable when the world does. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything, stand still. Find your reflection, and don't move until you see more than skin. See the story you're telling yourself. Then decide. Does that story make you stronger or softer? Does it make you clearer or more confused? And if it doesn't serve you, rewrite it before you take your first step. Because if you don't win in the mirror, you will bleed in the day. And the world is not kind to men who bleed early. You don't need to be holding your phone for it to be holding you. That's how deep the trap goes. The algorithm isn't just on your screen, it's already in your mind. And if you start the morning by feeding it, you've already surrendered your sovereignty for the day. Because when you wake up and scroll, you're not making a choice. You're following a script, one you didn't write, one you probably don't even know is running. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Every time you open your phone in the first minutes of the day, you're letting something else define your mood, your pace, your focus. Before you even remember who you are, you've already consumed someone else's agenda. You've already handed over your attention, the most valuable thing you own, in exchange for stimulation that adds nothing to your mission. That isn't just weakness. That's a ritual of dependency, one swipe at a time. The truth is, your mind has no firewall when you wake up. It's vulnerable. It's still forming. It's transitioning from sleep into awareness. And whatever enters in that window becomes the foundation of your day. That's why the algorithm fights to get there first. That's why your phone lights up with notifications even when you didn't ask. It's not convenience, it's invasion. The strongest men in the world understand this. They treat the first hour of the day like sacred ground, untouchable, silent, under their command. Because if you don't train your brain to obey you, it will obey whatever stimulates it first, and the algorithm is designed to be faster than you. This isn't about discipline for its own sake. This is about reclaiming authorship over your own mind. Because if the first voice you hear in the morning is a stranger's, selling, bragging, complaining, seducing, then you've already become reactive. Your energy is no longer pure. It's fragmented, leaking, tied up in things that don't matter. And what starts as harmless scrolling becomes something far worse: mental scattering. You've already diluted your focus before you even begin. There is nothing neutral about a timeline. It's not passive. It's curated chaos. And every image, sound, and word that enters your nervous system before your own thoughts do rewires you. Slowly, invisibly, permanently. This is the war you weren't told you were fighting. A war of attention. And the battlefield is your pocket. The unbreakable man doesn't rely on motivation to avoid the algorithm. He uses systems. He creates barriers. His phone sleeps outside his room. His notifications are off by default. His alarm is analog. Not because he's obsessed with productivity, but because he refuses to be someone else's subject, because he understands that peace is not found. It's protected. There will always be an excuse to check. Maybe it's just the news. Maybe it's just a quick reply. But deep down, you know what it is. It's avoidance of yourself, of silence, of the discomfort of being still. Because it's in that stillness that you realize what you've been postponing, what you've been avoiding, what needs to change. And the algorithm's job is to make sure you never have to sit with that. This habit is more than a detox. It's defiance. It's saying, I will not let the world program me before I've even remembered my own name. I will not surrender my mind to a machine before I've grounded it in my own voice. Because every morning I do that, I lose a part of myself I can't get back. So here's the challenge. Wake up and don't touch it. Not for 5 minutes, not for 10, but for as long as it takes to reclaim your center. Breathe, think, ask. Who am I before the world interrupts me? Who am I without the noise? Let that question echo until you feel something deeper return, your command. You'll feel withdrawal. You'll feel boredom. You'll reach without thinking. That's when you'll know the algorithm isn't on the screen anymore. It's in your reflex, in your muscle memory, in your identity. And breaking that is not easy, but it's possible. And it begins with a refusal. Because men who wake up chasing dopamine will live as addicts. Men who wake up chasing silence will live as leaders. The difference is decided in the first moment of the day, the moment where you choose either to consume or to command. The algorithm isn't evil, but it is hungry. And every morning you feed it before feeding your soul, you become easier to control. So disobey it. Without apology, without explanation. Just close the door and listen to the part of you that still remembers what freedom feels like. Before your body moves, before your face tightens into habit, before the world can even touch you, a voice has already begun speaking in your mind. It's soft, familiar, almost automatic. But don't let that familiarity fool you. That voice isn't neutral. It isn't always yours. And if you don't confront it immediately upon waking, it will hijack your day before it even starts. Most men never question the first voice they hear in the morning. They mistake it for themselves. But more often than not, that voice is stitched together from old failures, broken expectations, childhood conditioning, and narratives absorbed from years of living on autopilot. You think you're simply waking up. But what's really happening is a reactivation of the same loop that has kept you tired, scattered, reactive, and unsure of yourself. The loop doesn't come from truth. It comes from repetition. And repetition, when left unchallenged, becomes identity. This voice might sound casual. You wake up and it says, I don't want to do this today, or I'm tired, or I'll start tomorrow. It whispers these lines before your feet even touch the ground. But each one is a seed, and you water it by believing it, by obeying it, by not stopping to ask, who is speaking right now? Is this the voice of my highest self, or the echo of my weakness? The moment you ask that question, something changes. You create a gap, a space, and in that space, You regain your power to choose. The danger is never in the volume of the voice, it's in its familiarity. Because we obey what feels normal. And if what feels normal is self-doubt, delay, or mental chaos, then you're not living. You're reliving. And that makes the morning not a beginning, but a continuation of yesterday's prison. The strongest men I've ever known don't just listen to their thoughts, they interrogate them. Not in a panicked, insecure way, but like a king at the gates of his own mind. Before letting anything in, they ask, does this thought serve my strength or feed my fear? Does it clarify my purpose or confuse it? Does it come from intention or from an old wound I haven't closed yet? This habit doesn't take long. Just 30 seconds of awareness in the morning can interrupt a cycle that's ruled you for years. But you have to be ruthless. You have to meet the voice early, before it can gain speed, before it can disguise itself as logic or humility or realism. Because weakness doesn't always sound weak. Sometimes it sounds reasonable, strategic, patient. It says, wait, rest. You've done enough. There's no rush. But hidden underneath is the desire to avoid effort, to stay numb, to disappear from the discipline required to rise. Every morning you are being sold something by your own mind. A story, a justification, a prediction. And if you don't confront that story, it becomes your script for the next 16 hours. Maybe it tells you that today will be hard, that you'll fail again, that you're too tired to show up fully. If you accept that without question, your physiology obeys. Your decisions shift. Your posture reflects it. And now, your mind isn't reacting to reality, it's creating it. This is why the unbreakable man doesn't just train his body, he trains his voice, the one inside. He writes his own lines. He replaces the lie with clarity, not fake affirmations, not blind positivity, but calm, precise truth. He hears the voice say, I can't, and he responds, that's not true. He hears, I'm tired, and replies, but I'm not done. This is mental combat, and it happens before the world ever throws a single punch. You don't need more time to master your life. You need less obedience to the voice that's been sabotaging it. That's the secret. It's not about doing more. It's about listening better, sharper, earlier, so that the first sound that defines your day is not a whisper of doubt, but a sentence of direction. Something you choose, something you command. That voice will always be there, even years from now. But what changes is how quickly you catch it, how sharply you question it, and how rarely you let it run the show. So tomorrow, before your feet touch the floor, ask one thing. What's the first sentence my mind offers me? Write it down. Look at it. Then ask, does this make me stronger or smaller? If it makes you smaller, rewrite it. Say it out loud. Declare war on mental autopilot. Because no enemy is more dangerous than the one living in your mouth, wearing your voice, whispering limits before you've even taken your first breath of the day. There is a kind of pain that everyone respects, the visible kind. Injuries, losses, setbacks, public challenges. When people see your struggle, they validate it. They sympathize. But the pain that forges something deeper, something unbreakable, is the one no one sees. The one you choose on purpose. The one that has no audience, no praise, no applause, just you and the resistance you decided not to avoid. Most men train their bodies in front of mirrors, in gyms, with metrics and measurements. But the mentally unbreakable man trains in silence. He seeks out discomfort that doesn't reward him instantly. He does things that feel unnecessary to others, invisible to the world, yet essential to the building of a mind that does not negotiate with difficulty. You don't become strong by accident. You become strong by introducing friction into a system designed for comfort. You make a decision every morning to feel something difficult. Not because you have to, but because you must. Because without it, softness creeps in. And softness is the slow death of every man who once had edge, vision, or hunger. Invisible pain might look like a cold shower, but it's not about the cold. It's about commanding your body to enter resistance when every cell says no. It might look like fasting, but it's not about food. It's about enduring emptiness and choosing clarity over comfort. It might look like writing that uncomfortable message, making that difficult call, finishing a rep with your arms shaking. But what matters isn't what the act is. It's that it's done in silence, without anyone watching, without proof, without validation. Because the minute your effort needs applause, it's no longer discipline. It's performance. And performance breaks under pressure. But discipline forged in private discomfort, that's steel. That's the kind of control no one can steal from you. Every morning you're presented with a fork in the road. One path is easy, smooth, familiar. It tells you there's no need to go too far, that you've earned rest, that one skip challenge won't matter. But deep down, you know what that path is. It's erosion, not all at once, but in degrees. You don't lose yourself in a single decision. You lose yourself in 1,000 tiny acts of avoidance. The other path is narrow, quiet. It offers no applause, but it changes you. It recalibrates the way you see discomfort. You stop flinching at difficulty. You stop complaining about pressure. You begin to welcome it. Not because you're a masochist, but because you've seen what it does to the architecture of your mind. It straightens it. It sharpens it. It makes your thoughts cleaner, your instincts faster, your presence heavier. The man who trains in invisible pain isn't trying to suffer. He's trying to remind himself who's in control. Every act of chosen discomfort tells your nervous system, I run this, not my cravings, not my fear, not my fatigue, me. And the body listens. The mind listens. And over time, even the world listens. Because the man who walks into difficulty willingly is feared in silence. Not because of his words, but because of what he has survived by choice. This habit must be daily. Not because you're punishing yourself, but because softness regenerates quickly. You can build strength for 10 years and lose it in 6 months of comfort. That's the law. Strength fades when it isn't fed. So feed it. Feed it discomfort. Feed it silence. Feed it effort that no one sees but you. And if you're wondering whether this is necessary, ask yourself this. When the world hits you without warning, when life punches you in the throat with no time to prepare, will you be ready? Because if you haven't trained for pain, your first instinct will be panic. But if you've sat in it, cold, hungry, afraid, uncertain, by choice, without escape, you will not flinch. You will breathe. You will respond. You will remain unshaken. That's the difference. The man who waits for life to challenge him is always playing defense. The man who challenges himself before the world does? He's on the attack. He's already bled, already endured. And so when the pressure comes, he doesn't ask why. He just moves. So tomorrow, pick something hard, something no one will know about, something that stings a little, and do it, without hesitation, without negotiation, without telling anyone. Do it until it becomes normal, then raise the bar. Because if you train in invisible pain, you'll become the kind of man no visible problem can break. Most people don't plan. They cope. They react. They wake up and glance at a to-do list, not as a weapon, but as a survival kit. They hope the day won't break them. They hope things go smoothly. But hope is not a strategy. And the unbreakable man never hopes. He hunts. He doesn't wait to see what the day throws at him. He enters the day like a predator, alert, calculating, and already ahead. There's a massive difference between planning like a victim and planning like a predator. Victims ask, what do I have to do today? Predators ask, what will I conquer today? The language is different. The posture is different. One is looking for mercy. The other is prepared for war. And the shift begins not with tasks, but with intention. When you wake up and immediately dive into distractions, you're being hunted. You're prey. You're running from clarity, from decision, from your own authority. The predator does the opposite. He wakes up and freezes the noise. He breathes, he thinks, and then he selects. 3 moves, not 30. Not an avalanche of tasks. Just 3 precise actions that collapse dominoes. Actions that matter. Actions that shift momentum. Planning like this is not about being busy. It's about being dangerous, strategic, unemotional, focused. Most men mistake urgency for importance. They chase every fire, respond to every ping, lose themselves in a flood of low-value motion, but the predator doesn't chase. He chooses, and what he chooses, he finishes. Not perfectly, but completely, because incompletion leaks power. Every half-finished thought, every open loop, every unsaid word, they pull at the edge of your mind like static. And static makes you weak. You have to begin your day knowing where your energy will go before the world begs for it. Because if you don't claim your time with force, someone else will, and they won't ask permission. They'll do it subtly. An email here, a message there, a request framed as urgent, and suddenly your day belongs to everyone but you. This is where mental clarity becomes lethal. Because when you plan like a predator, you are not just managing time, you are defending territory. The hours ahead of you are not open fields. They are battlegrounds. And if you don't choose where to stand, you will be dragged. Not once, but all day. So here's the shift. Don't just write a list. Write your mission. Don't just track your tasks. Prioritize your power. Ask, what 3 things, if completed with full force today, would make everything else lighter, cleaner, sharper? Then shut the door. Burn the distractions. And move. Like it's life or death. Because it is. Maybe not for your body, but for your mind, for your vision, for your ability to believe in yourself again. Most men drift through their days wondering why they feel scattered. The answer is simple. They didn't set direction, and if you don't lead your time will lead you into mediocrity. It doesn't matter how hard you work if you're working in the wrong direction. Movement without precision is erosion, and erosion is how empires fall. Internally, quietly, piece by piece. But not you. Not if you wake up and think like the hunter. Not if you enter the morning with stillness, and from that stillness, summon your edge. A man with no plan is a servant. A man with a weak plan is a slave to urgency. But a man with a sharp plan, one rooted in clarity and commitment, is a storm. Don't confuse this with anxiety. The predator is not rushed. He is slow, cold, deliberate. He sees everything. He acts only when necessary. But when he acts, the move is final. That's how you must approach your time. With decisiveness, with control, with the awareness that every hour wasted is a weapon dulled. This habit is not about turning you into a machine. It's about turning you into something stronger than chaos. Something the world respects without being told. Something that doesn't crack under urgency, but uses it. Planning, when done like this, is no longer a task. It's a ritual, a return to command, a reminder that you are not here to float. You are here to move the world with your choices. Wake up. Sit in silence. See the day before it begins. Mark your 3 moves. Make them sharp. Then enter the world not as a man with a plan, but as the plan itself. Every morning, without even noticing, you wake up as a version of who you were yesterday. Same thoughts, same habits, same tone in your voice. You may think today is different, but unless you consciously interrupt the cycle, it isn't. It's a continuation, a repeat performance of a pattern you didn't even design. The brain is built for repetition. It loves loops because loops are safe, predictable, energy-saving. But safety left unchecked turns into softness. Predictability becomes paralysis. And soon you're not thinking, you're executing a script. One written by months, maybe years of avoiding discomfort, delaying decisions, negotiating with your own potential. That script is invisible, but its consequences aren't. You feel it when you fall into old habits without resistance, when you react instead of respond, when you know what you should do and still do the opposite. This is not laziness. This is architecture. Your mind has built pathways, neural roads carved by emotion, memory, and behavior, and they run fast. So fast you don't even see the turn. You're just there again. Same failure, same excuse, same apology to yourself in silence. That's why change can't start with goals. It must start with interruption. If you don't shock the system will own you. So every morning before you fall back into default, you must disrupt yourself. On purpose, intentionally, without warning. You don't need a huge ritual. You need a jolt. Something that tells your brain, today will not be like yesterday. It can be physical, a sudden plunge into cold, a 10-second sprint, holding your breath for longer than is comfortable. It can be mental, asking a question you've never dared ask, writing a sentence that forces confrontation, saying something out loud that rattles your soul. What matters is not the method. What matters is that it's sharp enough to break the trance. You are not weak because you lack willpower. You are weak because you are too familiar with yourself, too comfortable with your own rhythm. And comfort is a liar. It whispers that you're in control when really, you're sleepwalking. And sleepwalkers don't build anything worth remembering. This interruption is not about chaos. It's about control. It's about reminding your nervous system that you decide what happens next. Not your cravings, not your fear, not your memories. You, the architect, the leader, the one who can choose to say, no, not today. Today I act from intention, from clarity, from the part of me that refuses to be dragged by old software. You won't always feel ready to do it. That's the point. The body will resist. The mind will give you stories. You'll hear, this is stupid. It's not necessary. It won't matter. That's the voice of the old pattern defending itself. Don't argue. Just move. Just disrupt. Just cut the circuit before it lights up. The man who interrupts himself regularly becomes immune to interruption from the outside because he's used to pressure. He's used to change. He doesn't need comfort to function. He becomes the disruptor, not the disrupted, and that creates gravity. Others feel it. They don't know why, but they sense the difference. You become harder to predict, harder to manipulate, because you've trained yourself not to be automatic. Look back at the last 7 days. How many of them were exact copies of each other? How many times did you say, I'll change, only to fold into the same movements, the same distractions, the same routines you swore you were done with? That's not failure. That's inertia. And the only antidote to inertia is interruption. Do something violent to the pattern, not with anger, but with clarity, with precision. Wake up and sit in a different room. Stand for 10 minutes without a phone. Write a sentence that scares you. Break the silence with a truth you've buried. Sweat early, sweat fast. Strip the comfort before it attaches to you. Every pattern wants one thing: to survive. Every interruption sends a signal. You are no longer available for weakness. And the more you do it, the faster your nervous system adapts. The brain rewires. New loops begin to form. Loops that serve your strength, not your stagnation. This is not motivation. This is war. A silent war between the man you are and the man you could become. And every morning, you are either sharpening your edge or dulling it with predictability. So tomorrow, as your eyes open, don't ask what you need to do. Ask what you need to disrupt. Then do it fast, before the old pattern takes the wheel. Interrupt early, interrupt hard, and watch what happens when the day no longer recognizes you. There's a sentence living inside you that you've never said out loud. You've thought it. You've felt it. Maybe it comes to you in quiet moments, or just before sleep, or when you look in the mirror longer than usual, but you've never let it leave your mouth. Because once you say it, something changes. You can't hide from it anymore. It becomes real. It becomes yours. And that's exactly why it terrifies you. Every man carries a sentence like this. Maybe it's a regret, a hidden desire, a wound he never healed. Maybe it's the truth about who he really is, or who he's pretending to be. Whatever it is, it sits just beneath the surface, shaping decisions, shaping reactions, quietly pulling the strings, and as long as it stays unspoken, it holds power over him. It becomes the silent architect of his limits. But here's the paradox. The very act of saying it, of giving it form, weight, and sound, is what breaks its hold. When you speak the sentence that scares you, you stop being afraid of it. You stop being its prisoner. You face the raw version of yourself, not the polished one you show to the world, and you don't run. That's where strength begins. Not in muscles, not in accomplishments, in truth, in naked, brutal, uncomfortable truth. This is not about public confession. It's not about therapy. It's not about venting to others. It's about speaking to yourself with no filters, no performance, and no excuses. It's about waking up, standing in silence, and saying the one thing you've never had the courage to say, out loud, with force, even if your voice shakes. That sentence might be, I don't respect who I've become. It might be, I'm terrified I'll never be great. It might be, I'm still angry at my father, or I hate the life I've built, or I know I'm capable of more, but I keep choosing less. Whatever it is, it's real, and its silence is costing you clarity, direction, and fire. Because suppressed truth doesn't die. It mutates. It becomes anxiety. It becomes overthinking. It becomes passive aggression, self-sabotage, and distraction masked as ambition. The unbreakable man doesn't run from that sentence. He hunts it. Every morning he stands still and asks, what truth have I been avoiding? And when he finds it, he doesn't write it in a journal. He speaks it. Because the body needs to hear it. The nervous system needs to feel it leave the mouth. It's not just emotional. It's biological. When you speak fear, it loses form. It goes from chaos to clarity. And once you can name it, you can face it. Once you can face it, you can act. You don't need a perfect script. You need honesty. Just one sentence. Start there. If you go further, let it come naturally. But that first sentence must land like a strike. Sharp, unapologetic. It might break something inside you. Let it. Some things are meant to break. Illusions, masks, old identities. You're not here to protect your image. You're here to build a mind that bends to no one, not even your former self. And don't be surprised if you cry. Don't be surprised if your voice cracks or if your chest tightens. That's not weakness. That's release. That's years of silence finally unraveling. Don't interrupt it. Don't correct it. Let it move through you like a storm. Let it teach you what strength actually feels like. Not power over others, but power over the fear that lives inside your own voice. You won't always want to do this. Some mornings you'll avoid it. You'll distract yourself. You'll rationalize. But the truth doesn't disappear. It waits. And every day you delay is a day you continue to live under a ceiling you built with your own silence. The only way through is through. So tomorrow, speak it. Even if it's just a whisper. Even if no one hears but you. Say the sentence that scares you the most. Look yourself in the eyes when you do. And when it's done, stand in the space that follows. That space is sacred. It's where false strength dies and real strength is born. Because the man who has nothing left to hide has nothing left to fear. And that man cannot be broken. You think your life is predictable because you planned it that way. But the truth is, your life is predictable because you've stopped challenging yourself to face the unknown. Every morning you follow the same path. You move the same way. You think the same thoughts. You live inside a loop so familiar, so rehearsed, that the edge of your awareness has dulled. And without that edge, you've become passive. You've become fragile. Because a man who no longer enters the unknown has already begun to decay. Your mind was not designed for repetition alone. It was built for presence under uncertainty. And yet most men avoid the unknown the moment they wake up. They script their morning to be controlled, sterile, comfortable. Same room, same route, same breakfast, same scroll. They call it routine, but what it often becomes is ritualized avoidance. A fortress built not to defend strength, but to hide from the unfamiliar. But growth doesn't live in the familiar. Clarity doesn't live in safety. Power doesn't live in automation. It lives in friction, in stimulus, in the tension that arises when you step where you haven't stepped before. That's why this habit matters. Reclaiming the unknown means choosing, every single morning, to insert something unscripted into your day. A new path, a new challenge, a different movement, a hard conversation, a shift in timing, anything that forces your body and mind to adapt without comfort. This is not chaos, it's controlled unpredictability, a sharpening of instinct, a reset of sensory awareness. You're training the nervous system to be calm in uncertainty. And that's what separates the unbreakable man from the rest. He doesn't need everything to go right to be centered. He finds clarity in motion. He walks into the fog without losing form. Because he has trained himself to be guided by principle, not by circumstance. You will never be ready for life if you can only function when things are known. And you'll never master your mornings if you fear changing them. The modern world has sedated you with patterns, and in those patterns, your spirit starts to vanish. You forget how to respond when the ground shifts. You forget how to lead when the map is gone. You forget how to think without a prompt. But when you choose, daily, to reintroduce the unknown, your systems wake back up. Your eyes sharpen. Your awareness stretches, and your soul returns to the surface. This doesn't mean destroying your structure. It means breaking the loop just enough to remind yourself you're still alive. Walk a street you've never walked. Change the temperature of your shower. Read something uncomfortable. Do the opposite of what you usually do in the first hour. Say something out loud that's not part of your script. It's not about drama. It's about disruption. And in that disruption, something ancient reawakens. The part of you that was built to survive in wilderness. The part that doesn't crumble when plans change. The part that thrives in motion. You've been taught to fear uncertainty, to plan every detail, to avoid risk. But that is not strength. That is fragility wearing a suit. That is fear disguised as discipline. Real strength is a man who can walk into uncertainty and keep his center intact. Who doesn't panic when control disappears? Who doesn't cling to routine like a child clings to a comfort blanket? The unbreakable man is not addicted to control. He is forged by the absence of it. So reclaim the unknown, not once, not when forced, but as a practice, a ritual, a signal to your own mind that you do not need the world to be perfect in order to perform at your highest level. Every time you step into the unfamiliar, you reclaim a part of yourself that was slowly going numb. Every time you choose unpredictability, you practice the art of stability without dependence. You learn to be fireproof, not because the fire avoids you, but because you've already walked through it on purpose. You were not built for comfort. You were built for clarity under chaos. But clarity is a muscle. If you don't train it, it fades. If you don't stretch it, it locks up. So stretch it, on your own terms, before life does it for you, and you find out too late that you've forgotten how to move. Tomorrow morning, break something, a pattern, a pace, a belief. Walk into one unknown, fully alert. Let it humble you. Let it wake you. Let it remind you that certainty is a prison disguised as success. You don't need another routine. You need a rebellion, not against others, not against the system, against the weakest parts of yourself. The parts that whisper soft lies in the morning, the parts that pretend to protect you but only keep you small. That's where your war is, not out there, but in here. And if you don't lead that revolution, no one else will. Because no one knows how many battles you've lost to the voice inside your head. Not even you. You've normalized the losses. You've accepted the inner dictator's rules as truth. But deep down, a part of you knows, this isn't who I am. Not fully. Not yet. The world celebrates discipline, but forgets the starting point. Before discipline comes confrontation, and confrontation begins with awareness. You can't lead a revolution against something you refuse to identify. So start here. What belief in your mind, right now, needs to be overthrown? Which thought is guiding you like a tyrant in disguise? Maybe it's, I'm not ready, or I always mess this up. Maybe it's, I'm too late. I'm not the kind of man who can change. Or, no matter what I do, it won't matter. These aren't thoughts, they're programs. And they've been running so long, you don't even notice the damage anymore. They've become your operating system. You need to break it, not gently, not eventually. Now, each morning is your chance. Not just to wake up, but to revolt. To choose one internal belief and crush it beneath the weight of new action. Not words, not theories. Action. Deliberate, defiant, unapologetic action that declares, I don't live under that law anymore. This is not positivity, it's war. And like every war, it must be led. You don't wait for motivation. You take the throne back from whatever part of you has been ruling your mind without consent. And you lead with force, with vision, with clarity. Here's how the unbreakable man does it. Each morning he identifies one enemy within, not 5, not 10, just one. The loudest voice, the oldest lie, the most frequent mental pattern that limits his strength. He looks it in the eye, and then he acts in the opposite direction. If the voice says, you're not the kind of man who commits, then he commits. If the voice says, you'll fail again, then he moves anyway. Not because he's sure of success, but because he refuses to be ruled by fear. This is leadership, internal leadership, and without it, all other strength is shallow. Every time you obey a limiting belief, it gets stronger. It becomes bolder. It speaks louder. It walks freely in your mind like it owns the place. But the first time you disobey it, something shifts. You realize you're not the thought. You're the awareness behind it. And that awareness is a weapon. It separates you from your patterns. It allows you to choose. That's the revolution. You will never be mentally unbreakable if you avoid internal confrontation. Too many men walk with muscles and medals and still live like prisoners to thoughts they've never questioned. But when you start leading yourself, every part of your being begins to fall into alignment. Your spine straightens, your gaze sharpens, your decisions become cleaner, because you're no longer negotiating with voices that don't deserve a seat at your table. Don't wait until life breaks you to wake up. Break yourself first, not into pieces, but out of chains. Wake up and say, today I overthrow something. Today I reject one idea that has kept me soft, doubtful, dependent, and I replace it not with fantasy, but with action. That action doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be precise. It needs to signal to your nervous system that a new authority has taken over, one that doesn't answer to weakness, one that doesn't flinch when old thoughts show up, one that has decided to rule. This revolution must be daily, not once, not when you hit rock bottom. Every morning you rise and revolt. You burn one lie. You replace one reflex. You walk one new path, even if your legs shake, even if your voice trembles. That's leadership. That's how empires are built. Not outside, inside, quietly, repeatedly, ruthlessly, and soon you realize something. The world didn't need to change, your mind did, and once it did, nothing outside of you could ever dominate you again. There's a death that doesn't end your life, it begins it. A death that doesn't take your breath, but gives it back. a death that strips away everything false before the world even has the chance to. And the man who chooses to die each morning, before the day begins, before the world touches him, becomes the kind of man no pressure, no insult, no loss can truly break. This death is not physical, it's internal, it's silent. It's the letting go of identity, of stories, of masks, of noise. It's the deliberate collapse of who you were yesterday so that who you need to become today can finally breathe. Most men never do this. They cling, they grip. They drag themselves through each day, holding on to guilt, roles, shame, praise, titles, all the fragments of a self that no longer fits, but still feels familiar. And that familiarity is fatal. You wake up, and before you even think, you pick up the weight of who you were. You wear the name, the memories, the expectations, the failures, the narrative. You don't question it, you don't examine it, you just wear it, like a costume you forgot you were allowed to take off. And then you wonder why you feel heavy, slow, scattered. It's not the world, it's the self you keep resurrecting every morning. To become unbreakable, you must die to that self, on purpose, with intention, in silence. You must wake up and release your grip on all the things you think define you, the pain that shaped you, the ambition that drives you, even the discipline that built you. Let it go, all of it, not forever, just long enough to see what remains. Because what remains, when nothing else is clung to, is what cannot be broken. That is your essence. That is your center. This is not about losing yourself. It's about shedding the versions of you that were built in reaction to fear, to failure, to rejection. It's about stepping into the morning without armor, not because you need no protection, but because your presence itself becomes the armor. You are not your past. You are not your habits. You are not your reputation. You are the awareness behind all of it. And that awareness must be reborn before it can lead. So how do you die before the world touches you? You go still. You sit in the early quiet. You close your eyes. You let every identity fall away. You strip yourself of praise, blame, ambition, guilt. You let the mind say what it wants, then you let it go. You feel the fear of letting go, and you let go anyway. And in that release, something sacred returns. Clarity. Clean, centered, unshakable clarity. The kind that doesn't need proof. The kind that doesn't need permission. The kind that simply knows what must be done and does it. When you skip this death, you carry yesterday into today. You bring wounds that aren't relevant. You react from places that don't belong here. You become predictable, emotional, reactive. But when you die before the world touches you, you meet the world on your own terms. You are no longer a collection of reactions. You are command itself. Every man must choose what he dies to. Comfort, ego, comparison, pride. You can't carry it all and still walk with power. You must burn something to rise. And mornings are the fire. If you treat them like a checklist, you'll survive. But if you treat them like a funeral for the weaker version of you, you will transform. The man who begins his day this way becomes immune to insult, to fear, to chaos. He has already released everything the world could threaten. He has already died to what others still fear losing, and that makes him free, fully free. Because the man who no longer clings is the man who can move without hesitation, without confusion, without apology. So tomorrow, die early, not as defeat, but as declaration. Let the illusions fall before the world gets the chance to rip them from you. Let the old self burn before life forces your hand. And from that ash, rise, still, focused, clear, quiet, ready. Because now, finally, nothing owns you. And if something in this shook you awake, speak it in the comments. Declare what you're shedding, then subscribe. Not for more noise, but for reminders like this, forged in silence and fire.